वक्रतुण्ड महाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। साक्षात् कृतं दयानन्दं परमार्थस्वरूपिणं तत्त्वज्ञानप्रशास्तारं प्रणतोऽस्मि परं पदम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपात्तमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। We'll chant from the shloka number 62. Please repeat. ध्यायतो विषयान् पुंसः संगस्तेषुपजायते संगात् संजायते कामः कामात् क्रोधो विजायते क्रोधात् भवति सम्मोहः सम्मोहात् स्मृतिविभ्रमः
सम्मोहात् पृथिवीभ्रमः
स्मृतिभ्रंशात् बुद्धिनाशः
श्रुतिभ्रंशात्
बुद्धिनाशः
बुद्धिनाशात् प्रणश्यति
बुद्धिनाशात् प्रणश्यति
रागद्वेषवियुक्तैस्तु
रागद्वेषाभियुक्तैस्तु
विषयानिन्द्रियैश्चरन्
विषयानिन्द्रियैश्चरन्
आत्मवश्यैर्विधेयात्मा
आत्मविश्वेश्चेयात्मा
साधमधिगच्छति
प्रसादमधिगच्छति
प्रसादे सर्वदुःखानां
प्रसादे सर्वदुःखानां
हानिरस्योपजायते
हानिरस्योपजायते
प्रसन्नचेतसो ह्याशु
प्रसन्नचेतसो ह्याशु
बुद्धिः पर्यवतिष्ठते
बुद्धिर्पर्यवतिष्ठते
नास्ति बुद्धिरयुक्तस्य
नास्ति बुद्धिरयुक्तस्य
चायुक्तस्य भावना
चायुक्तस्य भावना
अचाभावयतः शान्तिः
भावतः शान्तिः
अशान्तस्य कुतः सुखम्
अशान्तस्य कुतः सुखम्
So in all these shlokas, the topic we know, Sthita Prajna Lakshanani, that is the topic. Started from the shloka number 55 onwards. Bhagavan Krishna, he describes the Lakshanam of Sthita Prajna. Sthita Prajna is Jnananishta Jnani. And in between, Bhagavan Krishna, he presents certain sadhana, what a sadhaka must do, what a sadhaka must avoid. So, the shloka Jhayato Vishayan Pumsaha, the two shloka, beautifully presented. What will happen if you dwell on the thought of the objects of the senses, Vishaya? Again and again, what happens? You develop Sangha. Sangha is you get attached to it. A certain attachment in the beginning, it takes place. You follow it, therefore, a Sangha happens. The Sangha, when it becomes deeper, when it becomes stronger, slowly it gains strength, that becomes Kama. So in the first instance itself, it is cut, then it will not transform itself into Kama. Once it becomes Kama, the Kama has to be fulfilled. So, and if you are not a Viveki, you do anything to fulfill your Kama. Or even if the person is a Viveki, because of the pressure of Kama, he may engage in any activity, even if it is not appropriate. Because the Kama overpowers the person. How? When there are obstruction, it becomes converted to anger. Once a person gets angry, when anger develops in the person, then the person loses the power to think. He forgets whatever he has learned. So therefore, buddhi nashanam bhavati, buddhi nashat pranashyati. Not only spiritually, even for gaining the arthakama purushartha, any accomplishment, any artha in life, purushartha, he fails to accomplish. That is the destruction. not the person will get physically destroyed. He becomes unfit for the pursuit of any Purushartha. What to talk about Moksha Purushartha. So, therefore, he says, one has to be careful in the beginning itself. Iti. Then Raga Dvesha Yukta is to Vishaya Indriya. If the person is alert, and he is free from this Raga Dvesha Yukta is to Vishaya Indriya. Even if he moves among, if he has got the mind under his Vasha, then even when moving among the Vishaya, Vishaya means the objects of the world, with all these sense organs under his Vasha, and he is free from Raga Dvesha. Raga Dvesha not there, or Raga Dvesha he has sufficiently managed, neutralized, then that person will have prasada, the tranquility, and that is required for Atma Jnana. So, for Atma Jnanam, you need prasada, that's a time composure of the mind. And for that, one has to make oneself free from Raga Dvesha. The one who is free from Raga Dvesha and who has got sufficient power or the ability to keep mind and the senses under his Vasha, the person, even though moving among the world of objects, is not influenced by them. He continues to enjoy his tranquility, prasadam. Then when prasada is there, that will destroy all the dukkam and the source of dukkam also. When the mind is with you, when the mind is tranquil, when it enjoys tranquility, then it destroys all forms of dukkam. Does the mind enjoy all forms of dukkam if it is tranquil? In the tranquil mind, only knowledge takes place. Only that knowledge alone destroys the dukkam. Without knowledge, a tranquil mind is there. The samsara will go away, dukkam will be destroyed. No. The tranquility of the mind is required for gaining this knowledge, Atma Jnana. When the person enjoys tranquility, Atma Jnanam is not far away. So, Atma Jnanam is not far away. Therefore, when Atma Jnanam is there, then prasade sarva dukkhana anihi. So, we have to supply. Jnane sati. Then sarva dukkhana anihi. Prasade means when the mind is prasada is chitta nairmatye. Chitta nairmalye. Chitta nairmalye. When the mind is free from this mala, chitta nairmalye, then sarva dukkhanam anihi bhavati. This prasada, when we say it is the tranquil mind enjoying this Atma Jnana. Tranquil mind only can have this Atma Jnana. Therefore, for that only the mind which is tranquil, that mind alone can gain this Atma Jnanam, and that Atma Jnanam becomes a cause for the destruction of all the dukkam. So therefore, dukkhanam anihi upajayate. So prasanna chetaso ashu buddhihi paryavastishtate. So therefore, because the person has got self-knowledge, Atma Jnanam, and the mind is tranquil, therefore, this knowledge becomes well established in the person. He is not influenced by the Vishayas around, or the people around, or the situations around. If this is not there, what is not there? When this prasada buddhi is not there. When prasada buddhi is not there, then no knowledge possible. That is when next shloka also important. The first, the 65th shloka and the next shloka. Nasti buddhi ayuktasya, achayuktasya bhavana. Here, buddhihi, ayuktasya. Ayuktasya means referring to that person who doesn't enjoy the prasada, the tranquility. So, ayuktasya. Ayuktasya buddhihi. Buddhihi is knowledge. Here, buddhi is knowledge. Jnanam. Jnanam na bhavati. Therefore, to be connected. If you connect, then sarva dukkhanam hanihi, the line is meaningful. Otherwise, you may take that tranquil mind will destroy all dukkham. That doesn't happen. Buddhihi asti chet. Buddhi means jnanam asti chet. This jnanam, the mind which enjoys this jnanam, then only sarva dukkhanam ani. Nachet ayuktasya buddhihi nasti. This ayuktasya for the one who doesn't have or enjoy this tranquility of the mind, for him buddhihi na bhavati. This buddhihi is atmajnanam na bhavati. Nacha yuktasya bhavana. So therefore, cha also ayuktasya buddhihi nasti, ayuktasya bhavana api nasti. Bhavana is nitidhyasanam. When buddhi itself is not there, then bhavana, this meditation, nitidhyasanam, how can it happen? When that is not there, then shantihi na bhavati. Shantihi. Shantihi means it is peace. What is the peace? That the peace which the person enjoys by this jnana, that is a peace. Peace is not the peace by bringing down the agitation of the mind. Not that peace. We are not talking about a temporary peace. Peace here is ashanti. This shanta here, shanta, what we mean is this shanta is this the shanti which is born because of this jnana, because of this nitidhyasana. The shanti which is permanent. So the shanti, the peace which is permanent. So therefore, for the person who doesn't do this nitidhyasanam, bhavana, for such person, this shanti, the shanti which is what is interested, which is a purushartha. The shanti is a purushartha. Moksha, freedom, that is the shanti. So for enjoying this shanti, this bhavana, nitidhyasanam, this assimilation of knowledge required. And assimilation will not happen without nitidhyasana. So therefore, to enjoy shanti, to be free from this ajnana and the ajnana related or ajnana born, this dukkham, that is really shanti. Free from ajnanam and the ajnana related or from the ajnana, the problems which are born, free from that, that is the shanti. That shanti will not be there for the person who doesn't do this bhavana, that is nitidhyasanam, who doesn't contemplate on what he had listened to, what he has listened to. Listen to what he listened to contemplate. First he has to listen. For that he need shanti. At that level he needs shanti. To contemplate on what he has learned, it requires more prasada. So if prasada is there, then nitidhyasanam will happen. Then knowledge will become strongly established in the person. Then only he will enjoy that peace. Peace means being free from this ajnana, therefore is peace. Ajnana related dukkham. Free from dukkham, that is shanti. If shanti is not there, kutaha sukham bhavati, where is sukham for that person? There is no sukham. So, shantihi na bhavati chet, dukkham eva bhavati, samsaraha eva. Therefore, ashantasya kutaha sukham. Therefore, all samsaris are ashanta manasaha. Who has really got the shanta manas, It's only the Jnani, the Jnana Nishta, the one who abides in this Jnanam all the time, 24/7, who abides in this Jnanam, Atma Jnanam, the understanding of oneself. The very understanding of oneself is established, is firmly as this knowledge, clear knowledge about the reality, what he is. So that is a knowledge. So jnanam only, because the cause for dukkham is ignorance. Ignorance is not only not knowing the reality, the reality, the nature of oneself. It's not only that. Taking oneself to be something different, that is also problem. Not knowing is one thing. Not knowing will not cause problem. I don't know French. Not knowing French is not going to create problem. I don't know many things. French also I don't know. That is not a problem. But the wrong knowledge, taking myself to be that which is not really me, that creates problem. That is what samsara is, dukkham is. So therefore, ajnana and ajnana janita, this dukkham, that is what samsara is. That is why people suffer, not knowing. So this is a very subtle thing, an important thing. This is the basic thing, fundamental thing to be understood. That we always think the cause for dukkham comes from the external world. No. The cause for dukkham is ajnanam. Ajnanam is not outside. It is with us. It is myself who is responsible. I am the karanam. I am responsible. Therefore, problem is not located outside. The problem is me. Trying to fix a problem outside, where it doesn't exist, that is foolishness. The problem is me. Therefore, the solution also has to be me. If the problem is outside, then you can fix the problem. If the problem is inside, we are talking about the fundamental problem. Fundamentally, the problem is me. Therefore, the solution also fundamentally lies with me. So, what is that problem? This ajnanam is a problem. The ajnanam is the cause, dukkha karanam. Therefore, when ajnanam goes away, shantihi, you are at home with yourself. So everybody, directly or indirectly, struggling for this jnanam only. Some people knowingly struggles. Knowing means knowing, after knowing, having known, therefore, having known, they struggle to get this knowledge, about this knowledge. Whereas some people, not knowing, they struggle. Their struggle is misplaced struggle. One struggle is a valid struggle. Knowing that I am the cause for problem, trying to solve the problem, understanding the problem itself is solving the problem 50%. So that is intelligent struggle. Whereas the misplaced struggle, trying to fix the problem, fixing the problem outside, where the problem really doesn't lie. The cause for the problem doesn't lie. That is misplaced, and people struggle. So all our struggles are misplaced struggles, struggle, and therefore go after this artha, kama, etc. So therefore, through artha kama, dharmadi artha kama pursuit, the purushartha, what the person wants to gain is this shanti, this moksha, which is oneself. So as long as the person doesn't realize that, he will go for a big round, and that is going to be a very costly one. The whole life may be spent, or many lives may be spent, to come to this knowledge. Then only shanti bhavati. till then ashantihi. Therefore, ashantasya purushasya kutaha sukham bhavati. Kadapi na bhavati. Never. There is never sukham for this person who continues to struggles to gain the peace from the external objects. So there is no stoppage. There is no pause for his struggle. Therefore, struggle is there. Therefore, dukkham is there. Pain is there. Samsara continues for that person. Iti. Up to that we saw. Then in the next shloka, Bhagavan Krishna, he says that you have to take care of this raga dvesha. You have to take care of this raga dvesha. Why? If this raga dvesha is not taken care and the mind is allowed to move along with the senses, then what will happen to the mind is through a upamana, through a drishtanta, through an example. Bhagavan Krishna says, we will read the shloka. Indriyanam hi charatam yan manonu vidhiyate tadasya harati prajnam vayurnavamibambhasi. Manaha anuvidiyate. The mind follows. Anuvidiyate. Anuvidi. Indriyanam hi charatam yet manaha. Yen manaha yet manaha. Sandhi. You have seen the last class sandhi. Yet manaha. So therefore takara replaced by the following. What is the following? Anunasika. It's correct. Therefore takara replaced by its savarna anunasika component nakara. Yetu manaha yen manaha. You have seen anunasika. So yen manaha. Yetu is napumsakalika. Why yetu? Because manas is napumsakalika. Therefore yetu manaha. So manaha anuvidiyate. The mind. Manaha anuvidiyate. Anuvidiyate means anusarati. Anusritya pravartate. Karye. The mind follows. Follows what? Follows the sense objects. The mind follows the sense objects. The mind, how can the mind follow the sense object? Not directly. Mind cannot follow the sense object. Mind follow the sense object through sense organs. Therefore, indriyanam hi charatam. The sense organs, they charatam. Charatam is chatranta. Charan, charanto, charantaha. Charantam, charanto, charataha. Charatam, shashti vibhakti bahuvachanam. Indriyanam. Charatam indriyanam. Indriyani charanti. Vishayeshu charanti. Indriyas move around the sense objects. That is how indriyas are created. We cannot blame the indriya. That is how. Otherwise, no knowledge can take place. If indriya doesn't go out, no knowledge can take place. Shabda, sparsha, rupa, rasa, gandha. And 5 indriyas are there. Shotra, chakshur, asana, grana. So therefore, through 5 indriyas, we know the Vishaya, the sense objects which are made up of Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. Therefore, Indriyas are the reporters of that perception. The knowledge of the objects are gained through are brought in by the Indriya. They are brought in by the Indriya. That is what they do. They are Jada. So Indriyas, naturally, they move around in the world of sense objects. That's how they are, and that's how they are created also. Paranchikani vitranat swayambhu. Parang pashyati nantaratma. Indriyas do that job, but what you are doing, you are carried over by the Indriya Vishaya and blaming the Indriya. You cannot blame the Indriya. Indriya, being a Jada, does the job of bringing you the knowledge of the objects. Therefore, the job of Indriya is Vishayeshu, Vishayeshu, Charanam, that moving around the Vishaya. So, Charatam Indriyanam, with the mind, with the Indriyas moving around the sense objects, Manaha Anuvidiyate, you have to keep the mind under your Vasha, but you allow the mind also. So, the mind also follows the sense objects. Like a slave, it follows. So, in the Charatam Indriyanam, yat Manaha Anuvidiyate, that mind which follows these sense objects, going behind, not thinking, no thinking, aviveka, this manas, the mind which doesn't think, just blindly, like a slave, if it goes behind the senses towards the sense objects, then what will happen to that? That the mind, that person, mind means that person who operates the mind. The mind is also is operated. Mind is also jada. It is operated by the person. This Purusha, what will happen to him? Tasya prajna, asya prajna, tat asya prajna arati. Tat referring to the mind. Yat tat, yat manaha anuvidiyate, charatam indriyana, tat manaha asya purushasya prajna harati. It destroys the prajna. Prajna means this wisdom, is viveka buddhi. Is viveka buddhi. Even if he is a Shrotriya, he is a person who has listened to the Shastram or listening to the Shastram, got some knowledge, Vedantic knowledge, that also the mind will harati, hrudatu, takes away, robs away, just robs a person. That is a real robbing. Robbing the wealth of a person, that is one thing. And the real robbing is when a thing can take away your knowledge. That is a real irreparable loss. The knowledge is taken away by the mind. The mind loses the viveka buddhi. The mind loses the thinking and loses to distinguish what is right, what is wrong, what to do, what not to do. So, therefore, what will happen to that person when the mind drops in? Then now he becomes helpless. He's a helpless person. Now he will be tossed by the fancies of the mind. Fancies of the mind following the sense organs which wander among the sense objects. And Bhashikara, here Bhagavan Krishna gives a drishtanta, an example. Yatha Vayuhu navam iva ambasi. Ambasi is water. Ambasi is water. Vayu is air. Nava is the boat. As the boat is tossed by the air, as the boat moving in the ocean, is tossed by this strong wind. Similarly, this person whose mind is robbed away by this Vishaya, by this Indriya. So tasya pragyam harati, and vayuhu ambasi navam iva ambasi. Yata vayuhu navam ambasi navam. Ambasi was the water. Yata vayuhu kampate navam. Ambasi charati navam yatha vayuhu kampate. Tadvat, this tadvat, the mind of this person will be tossed away by these sense objects. Therefore, allowing the mind to follow the sense objects, that is the first mistake. And the resultant of that mistake is a costly thing. Then the mind will be tossed by the agitations, by the agitation of the flow of the sense organs among the sense objects. So therefore, it's a beautiful, nice Drishtanta comparison. How can a small boat survive in the ocean of sense objects? The world is like a ocean of sense objects. So many vishayas are there, and the mind is a small boat. Mind is this mind is a small boat. So how the mind will be tossed in this world of sense objects by this by the strong air. Air is can be compared to this desire. So blown by the wind of desire, the mind which moves in the ocean of sense objects get tossed. Similarly, not similarly, this is what the example Drishtanta is. So we have to see the Drishtanta. Yatha Vayuhu, as a small boat, as a small boat is tossed in the ocean by the strong wind, similarly, this person also get tossed up in the world of sense, moving in the world of sense objects. So therefore, what do we understand from this? Therefore, one has to keep the mind. The Shama is important and Dhamma is important. If the mind is dragged away by the sense organs, then whatever little understanding I have that I have in the buddhi, happened in the buddhi, that is robbed away. That is robbed away. Therefore, the mind, allowing the mind to follow the unrestrained sense organs, that is the problem. Therefore, arati, it will take away the prajna of this person. Therefore, the boat which is tossed up in the ocean cannot reach the other shore. Similarly, the mind which is agitated in the world of sense objects cannot reach the shore of moksha, the other para. You cannot see the para, the other side of the ocean, the other side of the other side means the moksha. It cannot reach moksha. It cannot take the person to the destination called the moksha. Therefore, if the antakaranam continues to engage in sense objects, then there is no moksha for him, and he will struggle. He will continue to struggle in this samsara. So it's a caution. There's a caution given. Therefore, have the mind with you, have the sense organs with you. The Shama and Dhamma. Again, here in this shloka, the Shama and Dhamma is highlighted. So it is presented through a Vitireka Mukha, the uncontrolled mind and the uncontrolled sense organs. The resultant of that would be the loss of the loss of this prajna, the wisdom. So Vitireka Mukhena, Bhagavan Krishna, he cautions. Then the next shloka we will read. Tasmad yasya mahabhaho
Tasmad mahabhaho
grihitani sarvashah
sarvashah
indriyani indriyarthebhyah
indriyani tasya
prajna pratisthita. So he stated what will be the effect of, or what will be the result of allowing the unrestrained sense organs to move around in the world of sense objects with the unrestrained mind. Therefore, tasmat, therefore, this being so, therefore, hey Mahabahu, hey Arjuna, Mahabahu, Mahan Bahu, the one who has got this Bahu, mighty armed, Mahabahu, Sambodhana, addressing Arjuna, hey Mahabahu, Sarvashaha Nigritani, Indriyani Sarvashaha Nigritani. Nigrihitani. Nigrihitani is withdraw. Nigrahanam. Nigrihitani is withdrawn or have mastery over this Indriya. Indriya Nigraha. That is called Dhamma. Mano Nigraha is called Shama. So mastery of the mind, Mano Nigraha, mastery of the senses, Dhamma. Indriya Nigraha, Nigrihitani. Indriyani Nigrihitani. Here Indriyas are talked about. Therefore, you restrain. You have mastery. You restrain your sense organs. You restrain your sense organs. In the Kathopanishad, there's a beautiful imagery is given. We have seen in Kathopanishad this buddhi. The buddhi is compared to the sarathi, and the horses are compared to this sense organs. So therefore, the sense organs are held by the reins, by the sarathi. Who is the sarathi? Bhagavan Krishna. So that is the buddhi. So therefore, restraining sense organs, restraining the sense organs with the reins called mind. The sense organs are the horses. If not restrained, it will go in all directions. Therefore, restraining by your buddhi. Therefore, nigrigitani. Indriyani nigrigitani. Sarvashaha. Sarvashaha. Sarvashaha means completely, totally. Sarvashaha. So, Sarvashaha, Sarvata. Always also you can take completely, totally, or Atava Sarvata, always. So, Sarvashaha. From what? Indriyartebhyaha Indriyani Nigrigitani. From the Indriya Vishaya. From the Indriya. Indriya Artha is Indriya Vishaya. Indriyasya or Indriyanam Arthaha Indriyarthaha Tebhyaha. From that Nigrigitani Sarvashaha. That is, one should be able to keep all the Indriyas away from the following the sense objects. Indriyartebhyaha Sarvashaha Indriyani Nigrigitani. Yasya, the one who is capable or who withdraws all the Indriyas from the Indriya Vishaya. Yasya Indriyani Sarvashaha Nigrigitani Indriya Artebhyaha Indriya Vishayebhyaha Tasya Prajna Pratishtita Bhavati. His Prajna will become Pratishtita. His Prajna becomes Pratishtita, becomes well established in this Jnanam, Atma Jnanam. Therefore, Tasmat, Bhagavan Krishna starts Tasmat. Tasmat is therefore. Therefore, why therefore? Connected to the previous shloka. Indisciplined mind gets destroyed. Therefore, since the mind which is not disciplined takes away the prajna, the jnanam, therefore, the one whose sense organs, indriyani, which are mastered, which are restrained from sense objects, sarvashaha, always or completely or in all respects, it is completely withdrawn. Tasya prajna pratishtita. That person jnanam is well established. That person jnanam is, that is, his prajna will be pratishtita bhavati, well established. That person will be, the jnanam will be natural to that person. Because Shama and Dhamma are there, therefore the person enjoys this jnanam. Pratishtita bhavati, always. So his jnanam cannot be robbed away by anything. Therefore, Pratishtita bhavati becomes steady, becomes established. So he is an Atma Jnani and revels in this jnana. He revels in this the jnanam. So therefore tasya prajna. So this prajna, pratishtita, and the the Shama and Dama. The Shama and Dama, the Shama and Dama is the mastery of the mind and the senses and the knowledge of Vesata Prajna. They go hand in hand. They contribute for each other. When the person has got Chitta Shuddhi, when the Raga Dvesha are mastered, they are neutralized, when the knowledge becomes steady, when the knowledge becomes clearer for that person, then the person enjoys Shama. The person enjoys Dhamma. And when the Dhamma and Shama are there, then only this is also possible. Therefore, they have got mutual dependency. They go hand in hand. It is not that I master my mind completely and then I pursue jnana. No. Mastery of the mind requires mastery of the sense organs required for jnanam to take place. And this jnanam also, this Chitta Prajna, this also is happens when the Shama and Dhamma also happens when this jnanam is there. So it is a natural for that person. Naturally, the person enjoys this Shama and Dhamma. Therefore, that's why he enjoys Shanti, not disturbed, not influenced by the bombardment of this Vishaya, the Vishaya of the objects. So therefore, tasya prajna pratishtita bhavati. So the Indriya Nigrahanam, when we say that this Raga Dvesha, the Raga Dvesha comes. So this mastery of the mind means this mastery over the Raga Dvesha. Let not the Raga Dvesha carry you. So that is why Karma Yoga was talked about in the beginning. So by Karma Yoga, this Raga Dveshas are mastered, and that gives you the Shama, the mastery over the mind. The mind is not influenced anymore, not influenced much anymore by the Indriya Vishaya. In that mind, where which enjoys the Shama, in that mind this knowledge takes place. So for that this knowledge to take place, Shama is required, or in the person who has this knowledge, Shama naturally will be there, spontaneously will be there in the person. That's why Prajna Pratishtita Bhavati, Tasya Prajna. Then the next mantra, shloka, it's an important shloka, and it's a little tricky shloka also. If you take the meaning of the shloka literally, that will give totally the wrong understanding. So that's why it has to be understood. It's a little tricky shloka. You should not take the literal meaning of the words of this shloka. We'll read the shloka, important shloka. Ya Nisha Sarva Bhutanam
Sarvabhutanam
Tasyam Jagarti Sanyami Yasyam Jagrati Bhutani
Yasham Jagrati Bhutani
Sa Nisha Pashyato Munehe.
Sa Nisha Pashyato Munehe.
We take the meaning of the words of the shloka, literal meaning of the shloka. Ya Nisha Sarvabhutana, that which is night for all the beings. Tasyam, in that night, this Sayami referring to this person, this Chitta Prajna, the person who is Jnani, the wise person, is awake. So that which is night for all the beings, in that night this person is awake. Yasyam Jagrati Bhutani Sa Nisha Pashyato Munehe. that in which all the beings are awake, that is the daytime, all the beings are awake. And that is night for this person, he sleeps. This is what the meaning is, literal meaning. But you cannot take the literal meaning. It means daytime, the jnani sleeps. Daytime, all the samsaris, the ajnanis are awake. The night time, ajnani sleep, this jnani is awake. That is not the meaning. So, ya nisha sarva bhutana, that which is night for all the beings. Tasyam, in that night, this Sayami, the Sata Prajna, Jagrati is awake. Yasyam Jagrati Bhutani, that in the time in which all the beings are awake, that is daytime. Sa Nisha Pashyato Munehi, that is the night time for this Jnani, who sees, who is able to see. So, therefore, this is a shlokartha, literal meaning of this shloka. This shloka has to be understood. What it means. That is, Ya Nisha Sarva Bhutana, that which is night for all the beings. It means that with regard to which every being is ignorant. Every being is ignorant. That which regard to which every being is ignorant. All the beings are ignorant. With regard to that, Tasyam, this Sayami Jagrati, this Tata Prajna is awake. This Tata Prajna is awake. What is that with regard to which this people are ignorant? People are ignorant with regard to this Paramartha Tattvam, this Atma Vishaya, this Paramartha Tattvam, Atma Vishaya, Atma Jnanam, Atma Jnana Vishaye, with regard to the knowledge of Atma about oneself, these people are ignorant. That is the Nisha, that is the darkness. With regard to this person, this Jnani is awake because he has got knowledge. He has got jnana. Therefore, he is awake. It means he is awake to the reality. He is awake to the truth. Whereas other beings are not awake to the truth. Therefore, as though they are sleeping, as though it is night for them. Whereas for the jnani, since is awake to this Paramartha Tattvam, the knowledge of Atma, the Parameshwara, Ishvara, since the knowledge, jnani has this knowledge, therefore is awake. Jagarti, the Sanyami Jagarti. Similarly, this Yasyam Jagrati Bhutani, Yasyam Jagrati Bhutani, that is with regard to which these beings, all the beings are awake. Awake to what? They are awake to this world. The world is a reality for them. The world, which is a reality for them, they don't see the world as mithya. For them, this world is real. This Vyavaharika, this Pratibhasika, the reality, empirical reality, subjective reality is real for them. Whereas Jnani, for them, it is Nisha. It is dark. It is nighttime. Nighttime means that is, he understands that it's to be Nisha. This is Ajnanam iti. Sa Nisha Pashyato Munehe. Pashyataha means the person who sees, he has got Jnanam, Viveka Jnanam, Atma Jnanam. For the Muni, for this Muni means this person, Sita Prajna, is called by the name Muni, who enjoys his Jnanam. For him, this, the world into which, with regard to which these beings are awake, it is Nisha, it is night. Iti, this Jnani knows. That is, Jnani is awake to the reality, therefore is awake, Jagarti, and he knows the people are for the people who are for whom this jagat, the world is real. He knows that it is ajnanam, that is nisha, that is night. That is night. The jnani knows. So therefore, the meaning is here it is this Paramartha Tattvam. This Paramartha Tattvam, this Parameshwara, that Ishvara, Bhagavan, since it is not known to Ajnani, therefore it is night for the Ajnani. Ajnani Jiva Sarvabhutanam Ratrihi Bhavati Nisha Bhavati. Nisha Bhavati. Whereas for the Jnani, since he has got Jnanam, with Ishvara Jnanam, he sees the entire Jagat as Bhagavan. Therefore, this vision, since it is not covered by this darkness of Ajnanam, therefore is awake. Therefore is awake. So, therefore, all the bhutas, sarva bhutanam, ignorant people are awake to this mithya prapancha, this prapancha, the world which is not real. To that they are awake. Whereas this wise person is completely indifferent to this world of duality. As though he is not there, because there is no duality, everything is Ishvara. So, awake to the duality means these ajnanis are awake to the duality. The karta bhokta is there. The drishya is difference, Veda is there. I am the seer and the world is seen. The Veda, the Dvaitam is there. Therefore, this ajnanis are awake to Dvaitam and Jnani is awake to Advaitam. Therefore, he doesn't see the difference. This Drik and Drishya, Vedaha Nasti. The entire world is Bhagavan. And he also, being a part of the world, not separate from Bhagavan. Therefore, there is no difference. There is no difference. His vision is Advaitam, whereas the vision of Ajnani, really not the vision, it is Dvaitam. Therefore, that Paramartha Tattvam is Nisha, is darkness. For whom? For this Ajnani, because covered by ignorance, they are not able to see, therefore they are sleeping. Whereas this Jnani, the Sanyami, who has got Shama, Dhamma, and who has done this Vidyasan and who is Jnana Nishtha, established in this knowledge, is awake to that. Therefore, there is no wailing for him. There is no wailing for this person, and he sees the reality very clearly. Therefore, it is day for him, is awake. No jnanam is there, therefore is awake. The jnanam is there, therefore is awake. No jnanam is there, therefore the people are sleeping. Sleep means you are sleeping to the reality. It means you are not awake to the reality. You are in ajnana. That is what sleep is. We use the word sleep for ajnana. Sleeping means what? No knowledge, not awake. That is what sleep is. Awake means you have knowledge. So therefore, ajnanis are sleeping. They are sleeping. Sleeping means they are not awake. Awake to this knowledge to which the jnani is awake. Jnani has got this vision, therefore is awake. Therefore, daytime for him. And for ajnanis, it is night. So therefore, this Dvaitam, that is, I am this Drik and the Drishya, the world of duality. That is what the real for the samsara is. And this duality, this Dvaitam, which is born of Ajnana, to which all the beings are highly awake and they are engaged in activity all the time, following different Purushartha. That is Nisha for this person. He doesn't bother about that. He's completely not mindful about that. He don't give reality to that duality for which the Ajnanis give the reality. Because the person he sees the truth, is awake to the truth. This Jagat, which is not different from Ishvara, Bhagavan. Everything is Bhagavan. Therefore, there is no Dvaita. He has got Advaita Darshanam. So, therefore, the outlook of the Jnani and Ajnani they are beautifully, very beautifully presented. The outlook of a Jnani and the outlook of an Ajnani, both are quite opposite. This Jnani, who is awake to this Jnanam, is awake to the Jnanam, therefore he enjoys complete freedom. And these Ajnanis who are not awake to this Jnanam, they continue to dwell in this world of samsara, which is real for them. Therefore, Dvaitam, when you say Dvaitam is samsara, Dvaita Darshanam is samsara, Advaita Darshanam is moksha. That is what the vision, that is what the vision of the Shastra. Advaita means not seeing oneself as different from this Jagat Karanam Brahma, Ishvara. I am not different from Ishvara, who is the Jagat Karanam. That is the vision, Advaita Jnanam. Since this Jnani enjoys this Jnanam, therefore is awake. Therefore only is awake. With regard to which all the bhutas are sleeping comfortably in Ajnanam, therefore darkness. That is why it is contrast. There is a contrast between a huge contrast between the darshanam of the vision of Ajnani and Jnani. So therefore, this person, Jnani, who enjoys this Atma Darshanam, Advaita Darshanam, Ishvara Darshanam, who has got this knowledge of oneness with Ishvara, is with himself all the time. Is free from samsara. Is free from all desires. So that is what is talked about the desire. The Jnani enjoys complete freedom. Why? Because he is free from all binding desires. Jnani also may have desires, but the desires really not for accomplishing or fulfilling himself. It is for loka sangraha, or to set an example for the other people, the people in the world to follow him, to emulate him. So, a Jnani doing karma not because propelled by desires. He enjoys complete freedom all the time, not propelled by any desire. He does karma. He does karma. Really doesn't do karma. It is only a semblance of karma, and he does that for the sake of loka sangraha, or to set an example for the people to follow. So the karma what he is doing is not to fulfill him. It's not to fulfill him. Therefore, the desires also, whatever the desires he entertains deliberately, voluntarily, it is not for fulfilling. Already he is fulfilled. So what can this do? That is the next shloka. A beautiful drishtanta is given. An example is given that we will see. We will see that shloka in the next class. Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Stunvanti Divyaistavaihi Vedai Sangapadakramopanisadaihi Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavastita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yoginaha Yasyantam na vidusvara suraganaha Devaya tasmai namaha. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanta Shanta Shantihi. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.
धन्यवाद
धन्यवाद गुरुजी।
धन्यवाद गुरुजी।
धन्यवाद।
धन्यवाद गुरुजी।
धन्यवाद श्यामजी।
धन्यवाद ऋषिजी।
धन्यवाद
धन्यवाद गुरुजी।
हरि ओम गुरुजी।